Welcome to the podcast. My name is Michelle Sinclair. This is the Real Healing Institute. Just a little warning here. I'm going to be headed off to Canada to go visit my little grandson. So we will have minimal content for the next little bit because then we are also taking a road trip for several weeks. Anyways, we're going to be talking today about rushing to get where you're going. Which, if you are feeling like you are not where you want to be, right? If you're like, oh, as soon as I get to this, as soon as I do that, and there's always, that next thing, and we're just always pushing and we're always trying to go forward, you need to ask yourself, what is it about the present right now that I'm not enjoying, that it is that I'm trying to avoid, or that's making me uncomfortable, which is making me think that I need to be or do somewhere else. So that feeling of feeling uncomfortable can tell you a whole pile of things. So I am going to encourage you here to meditate on if this applies to you. If you always feel like you need to push and the next thing needs to come, oh, I need this. Once I have this, I'll feel this way. Once I do this, I'll feel this way. Once I do this, I'll feel this way. If we are not happy with the present circumstances, we just need to ask ourselves, why? And you might know the why. You might say, oh, well, it's because I need to make more money. And once I make more money, then I'm going to have this, or it's going to be this. But I have to tell you guys this. So there was this, his name is Richard Nongard. He is, I am an instructor, a hypnosis instructor with the ICBCH. And this man is one of the dudes that started it. And so he had this really cool technique that he used in one of our trainings. And he was saying that, if you imagine, so just do this here with me now. I want you to just imagine that you're sitting on a bench. So you can just envision this, right? You're sitting on a bench and somebody walks up to you and they hand you the thing that you absolutely want the most in the whole world. They hand you this thing that you want the most in the whole world, and it's yours. And you get to keep it. And so if you could sit there and you could experience what that is like when you finally, you receive this thing that you wanted so much. It is not the thing that it is that you want so much, but it is the feeling that you get from having that thing. So for example, let's say, well, I want, millions of dollars. Well, what is it that you actually want? You just want the freedom that comes with having that. Is you want that feeling free, because perhaps right now, if you don't have that, you feel tied to something, and it's making you feel uncomfortable because we're not meant to be tied to things. And so there's some belief that we have within us that is keeping us tied to something, even though it's not bringing us fulfillment, or we're not feeling satisfied. We're not getting any satisfaction from the thing that we're tied to. And now we could go our whole entire life feeling like comfortably uncomfortable, right? Because we're afraid of something changing. I remember Jim Carrey, he was talking about his dad, and that, his dad was such a funny guy and all these things. And his dad really, wanted to go out and be a comedian or do this or that. But no, he decided he's, going to, I can't remember if he was an accountant or what. He decided that he was going to do just this, run-of-the-mill job to keep himself, something stable. And so, the years go by and, his dad's not satisfied with this. And then eventually he ends up getting fired anyways. And all of that loyalty and dedication that he had been putting towards this thing that he thought was the thing that was going to bring him stability crumbled down around him. And he lost it all, even though it was the thing that was keeping him uncomfortably comfortable. And so then he realized through that, man, you can't there's no guarantees here. So even if I stay with that thing that's making me uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that there's a guarantee that it's going to pan out in this particular way. And so it really drove him to go and do that thing that was passionately pushing him forward. And so I got to say here, when we really get to know who it is that we are, and this can be quite the freaking process, man. I was talking to my daughter about this yesterday, and because of how she grew up, she felt like, I don't even know who I am, which I wouldn't say that that's just her, because I discovered that maybe a couple years ago myself. So this is a process that we go through, right? We're birthed, and our parents are in control of what we do, how we think, how we act, all these things. And then eventually, we grow up and we believe all these things. We don't know why we believe them until we start going deep and start discovering oh wow, I got a lot of patterns. I got a lot of things that I believe because somebody else told me, and it's not the truth for me. And so over these years, what it is that we're doing is we're shedding all of those things that other people put on us that we accepted as us. And as the years go by, we realize, we go through things, we start to set up boundaries, we start to see, we get into relationships with people, friendships or romantic or whatever it is, and then we see the ways that we've adjusted and we've shifted and we've changed ourselves to keep the other person happy. Even in work, let's say that, you are, really this way, and then somebody, you make them uncomfortable, and, they don't like that. Probably, maybe jealousy, maybe who knows what it is, why they don't like the way that you're acting. But then what happens when we display our true self and somebody rejects it? Well, what do? Oh, we take it back. We stop. We don't do that again. We don't want to feel that uncomfortable feeling of being our true self and being rejected for it. And we don't know, the person's thoughts behind why they're rejecting things. And they're always about them and have nothing to do with us. But through us accepting their rejection of ourself, we are rejecting part of ourself. And we don't even realize that we do this. These things become so subtle, right? It's like you go to lose 100 pounds. Okay, you want to lose 100 pounds. Eventually, you're going to get to that end goal. Eventually, you're going to get there. But you're going to lose it so slowly that you're not maybe going to notice the extreme, massive progress that you have made because you're seeing it day by day. And so you just get used to the new you that you see in the mirror. This is, I'll have people come to me for hypnosis sessions, and they come in and they're feeling this way and blah, 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 and then they leave, and then they come back like a week later, and I'm like, okay, well, how are you feeling about this? And they will not even sometimes remember the issue that they came for in the first place because it's completely gone. Hasn't been a thing because they're so used to the new them. Let's say, okay, well, how has your depression been? They'll be like, oh, yeah, no, totally fine. No, I haven't been depressed at all. You're like, okay, well, last time you said, it was at an 8 out of 10. Really? Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. I don't even have it at all. I don't remember it being like that. But yet if I'm looking in my notes, they're telling me that they've been depressed at an 8 for the last frickin' how many years? They can't even see past it. They're so in it, and as soon as it changes, this is now your new reality, and you don't even remember what that was like anymore. You don't even remember. This is like giving childbirth, right? You have your baby. I mean, half of us will know this. You have your baby, and it is so insanely painful, but the second that it is over, that pain is gone, and you don't actually remember what it was like again. If you did, you wouldn't freaking have any more kids. You just wouldn't. But your body protects you in this way. It stops that memory from coming back. So even though you've gone through an experience, you actually don't really recall what it was like, because as soon as it's over, it's actually over. And you're cool and you're back to good. And this is very often what happens, that we'll change these things in ourselves, but we'll do it in a way to placate somebody else, or to avoid conflict, or to appease other people, because, I did this, and this person doesn't like this part of me. Okay, well, I better tone that down, or it's going to cause conflict between us. And most people are, trying to avoid conflict. And so rather than externally have it, they then eat it. They suppress a part of themselves, and now they have internal conflict. But they don't even necessarily know that this has happened, because they've turned off a part of themselves. They have conflict with a part of themselves because somebody else did. But they're not going to talk about it. They're just going to keep it suppressed, and they're going to let this little bit of their energy and who it is that they are dwindle down. And very soon, just like losing the 100 pounds, just like going for a session and not even realizing what you came for the sessions for in the first place because you feel so great, pretty soon you don't even remember who it was that you are, because you're not turning that part back online. No, that was rejected by somebody. I'm going to reject that too. And then the years go on, and pretty soon we've done this so much that we don't even know who we are, because we haven't just rejected, one little part of us. When this becomes a pattern and we're willing to accept rejection of self, we're willing to accept it in multiple areas, and we don't even know that we've done it. And then pretty soon, I'll use an example of a relationship. I had a friend who was married, and she was freaking nearly on the brink of death by the time that that they got divorced. Because all of her energy was going to this, and he's this and he's that and all these things, and how terribly he was treating her. Her body was breaking freaking down. And as soon as they broke up, as soon as it was over, all of a sudden, weird, look at her health is recovering. oh wow, she's totally okay. All those issues that were there before are slowly just dwindling away overnight magically. Well, no, the reason that this has happened is because we've put all of these energetic blocks on ourselves, and we've accepted these things that other people have put on us that have shut us down and turned us off. But here's the kicker. We are silently resentful for it. And because we are silently resentful for it, right? We're not going to tell that person like, oh, I had to turn this part of me off because you didn't like it. No, we just turned it off because we wanted to avoid the conflict. But subconsciously, we know that's not cool, man. I shouldn't have done that to myself. I've done it again. Oh, that spark that I have, I've dwindled it. I've allowed this to happen again. And so we become resentful, and we think that it's at the other person who has done this to us, air quotes. But really, we have done this to ourselves by allowing it again. And why did we allow this again? Why did we do this again? Because we didn't learn the first time. Because we have patterns that need to be played out in order for us to recognize them, in order for us to not repeat them again. But all of these patterns that come up, they're just so sneaky. And usually we don't notice them until we're in the middle of them, and then the same old thing plays out again. Okay, well now I'm stuck again. Oh look, I've done it to myself again. Oh, I knew I would be here. I told myself I wasn't going to do this, and look at the position that I put myself in again. And why do we do this? We do this because it's oh familiar. And it's oh comfortably uncomfortable. And oh, we just repeat these same things again because how our brain works is it is going to keep things at the forefront that have kept you alive. And so it's going to be like, oh, well, last time you did this, I mean, it worked out. You're still alive. You're still here. That's its only goal that it has, is to keep you alive. It didn't care that you're not happy during the process, but you're alive. And so it's like, yay, I did a good job. And so your mind will be like, hey, this is familiar. We should do this. Yeah, we should do this, even though everything inside of you is saying, no, I don't want to do that again. But your mind, your subconscious, unhealed mind is saying, no, do it. You're alive. We did this before. You're still alive. It's cool. Like, let's do that again. Because my job is to keep you alive. And so we don't even because we're not thoughtful. We don't even think about our lives. We're just so not thoughtful about our lives. Some of us are, but most of us are not thoughtful about our lives until it gets to the point where we then have to be. And then we realize, man, how did I let all these things slip by? How have I been so unthoughtful about myself and about my life? And then you get to a point where you're like deciding, okay, now I need to do something different. And it's usually at this point that we realize, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what that question means. If somebody asked me, who are you? I don't even know if I could answer that. Because we actually can't answer it. Because we actually don't know. Because those parts of us that are us, somebody else didn't like them, so we shut them off. And so then we acted a different way, right? Well, if we shut that part off, well, then we had to replace that behavior with something else. And so we replaced it with something that would keep them happy. And so because we did this, well, now we're playing that role. And so we've been doing this. How many years have we done this? How many months? How long did we do this for? Days? I don't know. But we don't even know who we are anymore because, well, we turned that part off. It's unacceptable. I rejected it myself when they rejected it, because I didn't want that to happen again. And now I play this role and I act this way. And we're seriously just playing a role. We don't even know. We don't even know who we are. And we don't know who we are because we haven't felt like it was safe to be. And as soon as somebody came up against us, we're like, oh yeah, you're right. You're right, I shouldn't do that. Oftentimes people will judge things inside of us that they haven't healed. And because their judgment looks like it's at us, we take it in and we do something about it. When really it's something that's actually about them. Let me give you an example. So let's say that you have some spiritual gifts and they're really amazing gifts. And somebody's like, oh, yeah, oh, cool, yeah. And they're like, downplaying this amazing gift that you have. Why are they doing that? I'm going to tell you exactly why they're doing that. It's because they haven't done the work. They could do the exact same thing that you could do. But the fact that you're doing it and they're not is showing them that they haven't done the work. And so it pisses them off. right? Because you are showing them, hey, you came to this life to do the great work, to do the things, and you're not doing it. And it's in their face because you're in their energy, so it's like it's in their face, and so they don't like it. And so they're going to try to diminish it, dwindle it, turn it off, turn it down, because they don't have it. And so they're jealous, but they're not even just jealous. They are internally angry at themselves because they know that they're here to do that work and they haven't been doing it. And so it's going to come off like a projection in whatever way of, oh, I'm making you feel a certain way about things when you shouldn't be feeling that. So you did the work. But why do you feel this way? Well, because other people make you feel uncomfortable. And so what do? You dim that part of yourself down. I'm going to give you guys another really good example here that maybe you can relate to. Relate this to something in your life. I started working out when I was pregnant with my first baby, which I was freaking 15 when I was pregnant, so I'm very young. So I started going to the gym, the YMCA, and at some point I look at their calendar and I realize, like, man, I could be doing multiple classes every single day, and I'm paying this membership fee, and it would be free for me to do it, and like I'm liking doing this. And so I was like, okay, I'm just deciding today I'm going to go every single day. Thanks to the YMCA, my babysitting fee was only $1 an hour as a member to have my son there. So I was like, cool, this is awesome. So I started doing that. 20 some years go by. I've been teaching exercises since then, since that point. Happened for the last couple years. Switched over to jiu-jitsu. But anyways, so I did this for years and years and years. So I mean, I physically took care of myself. However, if we were going to go to the pool, if we were going to go somewhere else because other people don't take care of themselves, I knew people were looking. I knew people were judging, and I didn't like it. And it made me feel super uncomfortable that I cared for myself so deeply and was in such excellent shape, but other people weren't, and I felt bad for them. And I felt embarrassed to even walk around in a bathing suit and have people see me because I thought, oh, they feel bad about themselves. And I could feel the judgments that were coming from these people. And so what do? I dwindle myself down and try to make myself completely invisible to avoid other people feeling uncomfortable because other people aren't doing the work that I was doing. And so I should have been proud. And like, you think that this is easy? I've been doing it every single day. This is something, it is part of my life. It's part of my process. And it's part of who I really was, but yet it was part that I felt so ashamed for because I had done such good work in it. And so then I see this pattern, come up later in my life. Okay, I, can do this and can do that, and these other people can't do this. Oh, do I need to diminish myself down again because these people haven't been doing the work? And it's like, you know what? Screw that, man. Everybody needs an example, and maybe I can be that example because I spent enough of my time dwindling myself down to just keep other people happy and to not make them feel uncomfortable because they weren't willing to do the same work that I was doing. But why do we do this? We do this out of a need for survival. We do this out of a need for acceptance. We do this out of a need for, I don't want these people sitting here judging me, talking about me kind of thing. We do it out of stupid reasons. Why do we do this? Why do we take those things about us that are just so amazing and great and wonderful? Look what the results can be when you put in the work, and then be like, oh, never mind, I'm just going to hide over here. I mean, you didn't do the work. I don't want to make you feel bad, so we're just not going to do the thing. And it's like, no. If we all stand up and if we all truly embrace those things about ourselves that we are just so good at and that we've embodied or that we've mastered, we then enable others to do the same. Because they're going to look and they're going to be like, oh, wow, look how, confident that person is. They look like they feel amazing. They blah, 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 blah. But I don't know that that's how I would have come across. I'm not sitting there walking around feeling and looking all confident because it's impossible that I could have because I wasn't feeling that way. I was trying to hide. But yet, why was I doing this? It was all about other people. And that's not going to happen anymore, man. That's me. That's who I am. Either you accept it or you don't. But until we get to that point where we don't care, either accept it or don't, you know, then we're in this conflict, and we're in this state of not actually truly knowing who it is that we are, because we dull those parts of ourselves down to appease other people. But when we're looking out and we're saying, okay, well, you know, I want to really achieve, and I want to really do this, and this is what I'm going to work on. While we're working on that thing, the most important thing that it is that we do is just be happy during the process. So let's say that, you know, you have some goal that you want to work towards, and it's because you think that this goal is going to bring you a feeling of whatever it happens to be. But I'm going to tell you that that thing is not going to bring you that feeling. You actually have to have it first. You have to have it first. This is like, okay, well, when I lose, like I said, you know, if I lose 57 pounds, I'm going to feel amazing. Okay, so then does that mean if you lose 56 pounds, you're not going to feel amazing? You're only going to feel amazing when you get to 57? Oh no, well, 56, I'll probably feel good too. Okay, so what if you lose, you know, 53? Are you going to feel amazing and good then? Oh yeah, you know, I'll probably feel good then too. Okay, so what about 40? Yeah, no, I don't know. And so we set up these invisible limitations on our own happiness and on our own value and on our own importance by tying them to certain goals or certain achievements, and saying, no, when I get to this place, then I'm going to feel this way. But I'm going to tell you, if you're not embodying who it is that you are, and you're not embracing who it is that you are, it doesn't matter when you lose 57 pounds, you're still not going to feel good. You're going to feel exactly the same way that you did before you had to lose that weight. Because it has nothing to do with the physical vessel, and it has everything to do with the mind and the mental state that you're in. Anyways, this is what I have for you guys today. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be taking holidays, so I don't know how many videos I'm going to get out over the next couple weeks, but I will be back eventually. Love you guys so much. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.